You know that feeling, right? That quiet shift. When a friendship you always counted on, like a really long-standing one,
Mm-hmm.
just starts to feel different.
Mm.
Or maybe it's that, like, surprising sting
Yeah.
when a connection you really value just kind of fades away.
Yeah, that fading.
Or realizing, maybe uncomfortably, that you and a friend, you're just not on the same page anymore.
Ah,
It's weird, and it can hurt.
it really can.
Why does that happen?
Mm.
Why do these friendships, which feel so solid, so important, often change in ways we just don't see coming?
It's such a common thing that we don't always talk about it. We sort of expect friendships to be permanent fixtures,
Hmm.
but they're not.
Hmm.
They're living relationships. They evolve just like we do.
That's really the heart of it. And that's exactly what we're diving into today. When friendships change, learning to let go or adapting to new dynamics.
Mm.
Our goal here is to unpack all that complexity, understand the psychology and the emotions behind these shifts.
And hopefully give you some tools.
Exactly. Tools to navigate these journeys, whether it's adapting, setting boundaries, or letting go, with a bit more grace and self-compassion. So let's get into it.
Okay, first off, it's really important to get this. Change in friendships isn't a sign of failure. It's just inevitable, part of life.
It feels like failure sometimes, though, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. But there was this interesting study back in 2009. It found people lose, on average, about half their friends every 7 years.
Half? Wow.
Yeah.
Every 7 years.
It kind of reframes it, right? It's more like a natural cycle.
Okay, half is a lot.
Yeah.
That definitely shows how dynamic these things are. So what are the big reasons? Why do these shifts actually happen?
Well, one of the most common ways, and maybe the least dramatic on the surface, is what you might call the fizzle out.
The fizzle out, okay.
Yeah, life just gets busy. People
Yeah.
get caught up in their own stuff, and you don't deliberately, maintain the connection. No one necessarily wants it to end, but it just kind of falls through the cracks. It's usually a quiet fade.
Yeah, I think we've all experienced that. You still care, but, life takes over.
Yeah.
What else? Beyond the fizzle,
Big life transitions. Those are huge.
like moving or,
Exactly.
yeah.
Moving, getting married, having kids, big career changes, even retirement. These things naturally shift your focus, your priorities. It's not always that the friendship itself is broken. It's more about adapting to totally new circumstances. Our lives just go in different directions sometimes.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like your priorities shift from, I don't know, going out late to dealing with baby stuff, and that changes how you connect.
Totally.
But what if it's not just outside stuff? What about changes inside us?
Uh-huh.
Can like our own personal growth make a friendship drift?
Absolutely. That's a really key one. Personal growth.
Mm.
As we evolve, our interests change, our values might shift, our goals look different. And if a friendship doesn't really align with who you're becoming, well, that creates distance. It's not about blaming anyone. It's just a sign you're evolving. And sometimes, core beliefs or just day-to-day interests diverge so much that it gets harder to find that deep connection.
So it's like two paths starting together, but then slowly bending away because you're each growing differently.
Precisely.
This whole idea of friendships evolving, it reminds me of how our understanding of friendship itself actually changes as we grow up.
There's some interesting psychology on this, right? Like Selman stages.
Yes, Selman's stages are a great way to look at it developmentally. They show how our expectations of what a friend is actually mature over time.
Okay, walk us through that a bit. What's the first stage?
So early on, ages maybe 3 to 6, it's momentary physical interaction. A friend is just whoever you're playing with right now.
Huh. So whoever has the cool toy is my best friend.
No.
For now.
Basically.
Mhm.
It's all about proximity and fun in the moment.
Yeah.
Then, maybe ages 5 to 9, you get one-way assistant.
One way. Yeah, a friend is someone who does nice things for you. It's pretty pragmatic, almost transactional. I'll be your friend if you give me some of your snack. Kids might even put up with not so nice treatment just to have a friend at this stage.
Still pretty self-focused then. Okay, what's next? Fair weather cooperation.
Right, around 7 to 12. Now, fairness and reciprocity become super important. A friend is someone who returns favors. Friendships can actually blow up if things feel unfair. You start seeing little groups, secret clubs sometimes, and fitting in becomes a bigger deal.
Ah, the playground politics stage. Getting serious. And then into the teen years.
That brings us to intimate and mutual sharing, roughly ages 8 to 15. Now it's less about keeping score. Friendships are built on real care, mutual trust. You want friends who think like you, share your views.
If they don't.
It can feel like a betrayal, honestly. Trust is everything, and breaking it can mean the end of the friendship.
And the final stage, hopefully where we end up as adults.
That's autonomous interdependence, usually starting around age 12, but really developing through adulthood. This is where you can accept differences, appreciate them even. You're less possessive.
Okay.
There's high value on emotional closeness, trust, support. And the friendship can stay strong even if you're physically apart. It's about being your own person, but still deeply connected and supportive.
That's a fascinating journey. Yeah, and it links back to what you said about different needs. We talked external changes, internal growth, but sometimes it's just about how we like to connect, right? Our style.
Exactly.
There was that analogy I read from Dr. Gina Simmons Schneider using plants.
Oh, the plant analogy. Yes, it's brilliant for visualizing different friendship maintenance needs. She talks about 3 types. First, the succulents.
Succulents, like cacti, low maintenance.
Exactly. Low maintenance. They prefer direct talk, tell it like it is, and don't need tons of emotional watering. They grow slowly, steadily, even when things are tough.
Okay, so that's the friend you can not talk to for 6 months, then pick right back up like no time passed.
Pretty much. Then you have trees.
Trees.
These need some nurturing early on, staking, watering. But once established, their roots grow deep. They need less active maintenance over time, but the connection gets stronger, deeper. They offer steady shade, reliability.
Sounds like a really comfortable, solid friendship. And the last one?
The flower gardens. These are, high maintenance. They need frequent attention, weeding, pruning, feeding. If too much time goes by without that regular interaction, the weeds take over and the garden disappears.
Ah, the flower garden friend. We might know one or be one. Can you give an example of how these different styles might clash?
Yeah, think about that story of Sarah and Monica, friends for 28 years, seeing each other through thick and thin. Sarah saw their friendship as a tree, deep roots, could weather anything.
Okay.
But then, during the pandemic, Sarah's business got hit hard. She really needed that deep emotional support. Monica, though, had just inherited money. She was maybe more of a flower garden type. She wanted things in her friendships to be pretty and nice, fun, enjoyable.
Oh, wow. So Sarah needed deep roots. Monica wanted bright flowers.
You got it. Monica eventually told Sarah she was, quote, tired of having to cheer her up and ended the friendship.
Ouch.
Yeah. Sarah, the tree, expected Monica, the flower garden, to just get her stress, understand her lack of availability, and offer that deep support. But Monica needed regular positive time together, and Sarah's situation wasn't providing that pretty and nice vibe. A total clash of needs during a stressful time for both, leading to a really painful break.
That's just heartbreaking. And it really highlights the pain these shifts cause, even without bad intentions. Which brings us right to the emotional side of this. Losing a friend, it can hurt as much as a breakup, can it?
Oh, absolutely. It can be devastating. Research shows the pain isn't just emotional, it can be physical too. Trouble sleeping, stomach issues, that tight feeling in your chest.
Yeah.
Psychologically, it can trigger anxiety, endless rumination, even depression, making you feel worthless. Friendships are so core to our well-being, how we cope. Losing one really shakes that foundation.
And what makes it even harder, I think, is that other people often don't really get how deep that loss feels.
That's exactly right. You're talking about disenfranchised grief.
Disenfranchised grief.
Yeah, it's grief that society doesn't fully validate. Unlike losing, say, a spouse or a parent, losing a friend often doesn't get the same recognition. People might say things like, oh, just make new friends, or why are you still upset about that?
It just makes you feel worse.
Exactly. It makes you doubt yourself, think, what's wrong with me? But feeling that sadness is totally normal. It just means the connection was deep and meaningful. Loss is part of intimacy.
It's so important to validate that pain. Okay, so shifting gears a bit. Communication, you mentioned it's key. What happens when it starts to break down?
Well, communication is vital for everything adapting, navigating conflict. Often things go south because we haven't, as they say, made the unsaid said. Little issues pile up, resentment builds.
So is conflict always a bad sign then? Or can it be useful?
That's a great question. Conflict, when it's handled with empathy, isn't necessarily bad. It can actually be a sign you both care enough to fix things. It can even lead to a deeper bond. People who really value a friendship are often more willing to address problems directly instead of just pulling away. If you feel yourself withdrawing, that's often a signal that maybe a conversation needs to happen.
That reframes conflict completely, not an ending, but maybe an opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay, so if communication is so vital, give us 1 or 2 really practical things listeners can do right now to communicate better when things feel tense.
Okay, number 1, Active listening. Put the phone down, give your full attention, really try to understand their perspective, respond with empathy. Don't interrupt, just listen.
Easier said than done sometimes, but
Yeah.
crucial. And what about expressing our feelings without making the other person defensive?
That's where I statements are golden. Focus on your experience. I felt hurt when, instead of you always. It avoids blame.
Right. Focus on the feeling, not the accusation.
Exactly. And try to prioritize the connection over winning the argument. Is being right more important than the friendship? Often it's not. And of course, take responsibility for your part. Apologize if you need to.
Those are great, actionable tips. Now, what about those invisible fences in friendships, the things we don't talk about much until they get crossed? Boundaries.
Boundaries, the unseen protectors. They are absolutely essential for healthy relationships. Think of them as like your personal operating system. They define the limits around your time, your energy, your emotions.
So it's not just about saying no, but about protecting your yes for things that matter.
Precisely. Boundaries help define who you are. They make you clearer, more confident. They stop you from feeling overwhelmed or drained. They bring order. And really importantly, they stop others from controlling you or taking advantage. They protect your purpose.
Okay, that makes sense. What kinds of boundaries are we talking about?
Well, there are different types. Physical boundaries, comfort with touch, personal space. Emotional boundaries, what feelings you share, how vulnerable you are, who you trust with what.
Okay. Financial boundaries, how you handle money, lending, sharing resources, and digital boundaries, how you interact online. Social media privacy, sharing passwords, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
How do we actually talk about these boundaries without making things awkward or tense?
Keep it simple, direct, calm, but firm. And respectful. You don't need a huge explanation or debate.
Right.
It's an ongoing thing, not a one-off lecture. You can bring it up casually. Hey, I really appreciate it when you call before stopping by. Or if something specific happens, I'm actually not comfortable discussing X.
What stops us from setting them more often? Sounds so straightforward.
Fear, mostly. Fear of rejection. Will they ditch me if I say no? Fear of confrontation. I hate arguments. And guilt. Am I being selfish? It takes courage, but your well-being is worth it. Remember, you're responsible for setting the boundary, not for their reaction to it.
That's a really important point. Okay, so we've talked communication, boundaries.
Yeah.
What happens when, despite everything, a friendship does seem to be ending? How do you cope with that loss?
Yeah, it loops back to acceptance, really. Loss is part of life. Friends move, drift, sometimes pass away. It doesn't mean you failed.
It often feels like it, though.
It does. But remember, many endings aren't personal attacks. They often happen during big life changes, and that says more about circumstances than your worth.
Okay, so detaching it from blame.
Yeah.
And even though it hurts, life goes on.
It does. We adapt, we reorganize, we find happiness again, even with that sense of loss. And try to adopt a non-judgmental attitude towards yourself and the friend. Judging just makes the suffering worse. Remember Sarah and Monica? Sarah eventually realized her temporary anger didn't define Monica forever. Feelings change.
Self-kindness seems really key here, like actively being good to yourself.
Hugely important. That's the healing balm. Simple things. Decent sleep, eating well, leaning on other supportive people, exercise, maybe meditation, or just quiet time. These things buffer the pain and keep one bad experience from defining all friendships for you.
And what about closure? Is a big confrontation always needed?
Not always, no. Sometimes letting it fade naturally is okay, maybe even best. If you do feel you need closure, a calm, respectful conversation focused on your feelings can help. Or even writing a letter you don't send, or one you do, like Sarah did. She expressed her hurt, but also her gratitude. That helped her find peace.
That sounds like a really constructive approach. But what if the ending involved conflict, and later there's a feeling like, maybe we could reconnect? Is reconciliation possible?
It often is, yes. But it definitely takes courage and real willingness from both people. Someone has to initiate.
How do you do that without reopening old wounds?
Reach out clearly but gently. Focus on the value of the friendship, not on relitigating the past. I've been thinking about you and I miss our friendship is better than we need to talk about what you did. If they don't respond right away, give them space.
And if they are open to it, how do you rebuild that trust? That seems like the hardest part.
It takes time. It involves acknowledging what went wrong, both people taking responsibility for their part, setting new, healthy boundaries this time around, and respecting each other's needs now. Patience is absolutely key.
I bet. And forgiveness must be huge in this process.
Forgiveness is central to healing, really. Research links it to less depression, less anxiety, better quality of life overall. It's mainly for you to let go of the burden. Once trust starts to rebuild, you need to nurture that fragile connection. Do things together, make new memories, check in regularly.
So it's an active process of rebuilding.
Yeah.
But sometimes letting go is the right answer, isn't it? How do you know when it's truly time?
Yeah, sometimes it is. If a friendship consistently leaves you feeling drained, used, or unhappy, if it's really one-sided, or if it just doesn't bring you joy anymore, it might be time to step back.
Are there specific red flags?
Definitely. Things like constant gossip, feeling manipulated, or having your boundaries repeatedly ignored or disrespected, those are big signals. Prioritizing your own well-being isn't selfish in these cases. Letting go isn't a personal failure. It's just acknowledging that you've both changed.
That's a powerful way to frame it. And letting go, however hard, does create space,
Yeah.
right, for maybe different, healthier connections.
Exactly. Letting go opens up room. And to foster new connections, the key is authenticity. Be yourself. Be open. Be a little vulnerable. That's what attracts genuine connection.
So focus on being real.
Yes, and maybe look for shared values even more than just shared hobbies. Values often create deeper, more lasting bonds, and just be patient. Good friendships take time to grow.
Wow, we've covered a lot of ground. The fizzle, the big changes, the pain of loss, communication, boundaries, healing, letting go.
Yeah, the big takeaways are friendships change, that's normal. Acknowledge the grief when they end, it's real. Be proactive with communication and boundaries, they're vital for adapting or for letting go gracefully.
And above all, be authentic. That's how you find the connections that feel right, like home.
Exactly. Think of friendships like chapters in your life story. Some are short, some are long epics. But every single one adds something, shapes who you are.
So the message is maybe. Trust the process. Trust the journey of friendship with all its twists and turns.
I think so, because every connection, even the ones that end, teaches us something about ourselves, about love, about connection. They all leave an imprint.